Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI related tutorial by Team Slidescope. In this part, we are doing exploratory data analysis on public library book borrowing data set. So you can see people have borrowed different books. This particular library has different branches. So average borrow duration in number of days, and average borrow duration by day of week is given, like on which particular day people are borrowing more books, total late fees collected by the library and on which particular day are they collecting more, average pages read by their readers. So you can see these books may have many pages, that's why the average number is 621.87. And by different day of week also we can see total renewals by day of week. So basically it is for beginners. We are showing you usage of different type of charts. For example, book borrowed by genre and member type. Which type of member prefers which type of book? Mystery is preferred by students. History is preferred by students, and you can see in children book students are not interested. So by different type of comparisons we will explore the data and draw some conclusions. This is important for library business. So let's get started and learn how to create and design a dashboard like this. So the data set that we have for today's project is book borrowing data set. People have actually borrowed book from library. So this is public library book borrowing data set, where we have the genre information, type of book borrowed, whether it's fiction, science, or history, what type of member has bought this. Then we have different library branches like library locations where the transaction occurred. This is day of week. So this day of week can be important for data analysis to understand whether people are borrowing more on weekends or weekdays. Then this is borrow duration, whether they are borrowing for 1 day, 2 day, like what is the overall borrow duration. Late fees, obviously if they are not returning on time, are they paying any late fees. Renewal count and pages read. This is a simple synthetic data where we have four categorical fields, four fields which are numerical in nature, four fields that are categorical, and we will try to do some exploratory data analysis on it. So this is just a random experiment that I am doing right now. I am just using this kind of interface for creating the dashboard. These are two simple images, like obviously one image that I have just repeated. So I have created these images using Canva. I will provide these images to you. This is one icon, and by just inserting and placing these images we can create some KPIs. So here I will try to put KPIs, and here I will try to add some visuals, and for that we will connect data. So in home, get the CSV file. This is public library file. We will connect it. Make sure all the headers and columns are properly visible, then load. So as I said, this is just an experiment. If it will look good, we will continue. Otherwise, we will get rid of it. And here we will just rename our data set as library or something, or book borrow, because when we will use it in different type of tax measures it will help us. Next is, if you see the data set, so we have some key indicators like borrow duration, late fees, renewals count, and pages read, sorry. So here you have, either we can create all the measures here, or what we usually do, we create a new table and we call it measures table, so that we can understand, that it is going to hold all the measures, and now we will create a new measure here, and that will be average borrow duration. So we can write average borrow duration, and for average borrow duration we will use the average function, and in average function we will select the borrow duration in number of days. This way we will create this measure, and to display the data we will use a card, and in that card we will put this information. Now I will make this size equal to the KPI area that we have, and you can see although the numbers are good, but we have to, if you just want to show that number here, so you can put the heading over here as well, because this area will be unused. So for that I will first thing I will do is disable the category label. So the category label is gone now, and make sure, and here we will also learn about layers. So for example, I have selected this element. If I go to format, so I will send to back. So now this is back, and now we can easily click this element, and in format we can bring to front. So this way this element will now be in front. How to display a heading? We can insert another text box here, and we can say this is average borrow duration. Sorry. So, and now we can use some font size like 14 or 16 pixels. So once we have to create this, because we are going to use this, so let me use, I'm going to use this size. I will make it bold, and then we will use it like that. And you will see one thing, that if we will drag it over our book icon, so we have a white background here, and this white background is because obviously this particular text element has a white background. So we will go to effects and remove the background. Okay, and let's use 14. So now you have this, and you can arrange it. So this is simply saying average borrow duration, and in the same way we can replicate that. So if this font color is not dark enough, we can select a darker font so that these headings are properly visible, and now we can actually increase the size also. This type of settings will need some time, because when you are doing a different kind of designing, you have to just adjust accordingly. And for this also we can go to call out value and select some color, maybe like this. So this is average borrow duration. Similarly, we will copy this measure, and we will see how much late fees have we collected. So we'll create a new measure, and this will be total late fees, not average. You can add average also. This is total late fees, and total late fees that we have collected will be sum of, and in sum we will select the late fees column. So this will give us total late fees. Now what we can do, we can simply copy this and put it here. Even for this also we can go and remove the background if needed, and I'm checking why is it not showing properly. And now you can see, as the background of this particular book is dark, so we can select a light color here like this. So just to keep variety, and here we will just use the total fees collected, and we can say something like total late fees, and this total late fees is actually a number, actually a monetary value. So you can go to your table view here. In table view you can select that particular column, and if you want to represent it as a monetary value, you can select currency from here. So as we created these two, we have also created total late fees and total number of renewals. Oh, sorry, average borrow duration. So now we have average borrow duration, average pages read, like if someone is taking the book, on an average how many pages are they reading, and then average borrow duration. So we have these four values, and we can now simply copy them and paste in these spaces. And now here I will select the average pages read. Now you can see this number is not being displayed because it can be a big number, so we can go to call out value, and now you can see it is showing like this. So we can adjust the size also accordingly, and if needed we will adjust the size of other visuals also. I will copy this, paste this, and then drag it here, and this is average pages read. So like people are taking books that have many pages, that's why number of pages read on an average is 621.87, close to 622. And here this is total number of renewals, like how many times have these books been renewed. So for this I will copy, sorry, I will copy this one and paste it. And if you want to learn data analytics from scratch, you can contact us at slidescope.com. We provide online interactive classes where you can learn everything from scratch. We also have Power BI course tutorial for beginners at Udemy. So you can purchase this course if you want to learn at your own pace. In this course, we have 10 plus hours of course content which we keep updating regularly, where you will find dashboard building lectures. For DAX, data analysis expressions, we have 22 lectures, and you will also learn how to publish reports to Power BI service and on. I'll provide the link of this particular course in description as well. So now we have average borrow duration, and we would like to see average borrow duration by day of week. And if you see in the data that day of week is given here, obviously whatever days we have, and for this we can simply create a stack column chart. In that stack column chart, what happens, you pick the categorical value on x-axis, which will be day of week, and our average borrow duration on y-axis. So you can see it shows that average borrow duration by day of week is on highest on Saturdays. Sorry, I selected average pages rate. So this is average borrow duration, and that is on Sunday. So that is what we can check here. And now when we have to adjust this chart in this area, we have to do several things. One thing will be to adjust it properly in this height. As I said, this is a basic kind of experiment that we are doing, not necessarily that you will also do in the same way, but sometimes we try something differently. So this is our chart now, and data is also properly readable, and this is average borrow duration by day of week. One thing that we can do while clicking on this chart, I will go to the title, I will align it in center. If you want, you can reduce the size if needed, and for the title I can select a different color. We can make it bold as well. So, and now I can adjust accordingly. So it will look like some kind of book cover, and this is average borrow duration, which says that uh, on an average on Monday average borrow duration is less and it is highest on Sundays. Like people have time to read, so on Sunday it is more. Surprisingly, on Saturday it is less, and on Friday also it is more, considering people come on Friday and then borrow it for their weekends. Interesting thing to analyze here will be we have selected average. If we just see total borrow duration, so you will see that it is on Monday. And as you can see, what I have done here in general effects, I have disabled the background. Title color is also adjusted accordingly. Then these colors, as you can see in visual, we have x-axis color. You can change it. If I'll change it, you will see, right? So I have selected this dark color here, made it bold, and similarly for y-axis, I have disabled the title, and for y-axis the value color that I have selected is this. I can select this one as well. It will also be good. And now it kind of blends with our book. So this is average duration by day of week. Now we will copy this. We have total late fees. So we can also see, let's say we are considering borrow duration as our uh, you know or day of week as our field that we want to analyze on different days of week how much total late fees is collected, average pages are read, and so on. So in this part we can focus on day of week. Like usually we select some numerical column as target field, but here we are analyzing whether we collect more total late fees on Sundays or Saturdays, or average pages read by day of week, total number of renewals by day of week. We are doing like that. So that's why I am focusing on day by day of week. So we can keep this on x-axis or whatever charts we will use. In next chart, what we can do is here, because we have total late fees for this particular image, so we can bring the total late fees here. And what happens here is, here the background is dark, so we can go to columns and select some light color. Okay, similarly for title also we can select some light color, and x-axis and y-axis. So the purpose of this particular tutorial is not just to understand uh, you know how to create these different KPIs. It is also focusing on some kind of design elements, like how can we choose for dark background, how can we choose for light background. You can choose this color also. Okay, so this is total late fees by day of week, and we can see that late fees by day of week is more on Mondays, which is $497.63, and on Friday it is least. So when people are, and seems like when people forget to return the book on Sundays or Friday or Thursday or Friday or Sunday, so they usually go on Monday and then submit. So whatever may be the reason, this is what data is telling us. Now, can we choose any other chart for such kind of analysis? Answer is yes. If you want to show some particular value as a top value, so you can select this funnel chart also. So you can see this Monday. On Monday, whatever value is there is now 100% of the first value. Then on the basis of Monday's value, Sunday's value is 62.17%, and Wednesday's value is 55.82% of first, that means Monday, and 89.78% of previous. Okay, so you can do it like that. But here we are not able to read this. Where will this come from? So now you have the data labels which are on, you have the category labels. So data labels are these numbers. If I zoom it, data labels are these numbers. So first of all, because chart is very small, we will not be able to see the data labels, but even if we do, we will select this color. Okay, and you can see display units, everything is automatic. And here one more thing, this is category label. At least we can fix the color of category labels like this. So this is total late fees by day of week, and you can see on Monday to Friday what is that value. And we have more. So this is conversion rate, and here also we can select some color like this, so that at least we will be able to see the percentage values. So this is how you can manage your charts with dark background. This one also has a dark background. So now we have information of total renewals. So like whether people are renewing more on Monday, Sunday, Wednesday, and this all will help the library in understanding on which days will be more busy days for the renewal section, which days will be more busy for fee collection section, and so on, and like availability of books and on. So this is something that we can see here. So here we can just remove this and just select total renewals. This is total renewals by day of week. And since we have something related to time on x-axis, so what we can do, we can select an area chart as well. If we are selecting an area chart here, then on the x-axis we have to select the same color, and for y-axis there are two things, values and title. So we have to select the light color for them as well. So values and title. So this will also help you in understanding what type of different field settings do we have here. And then this is line. So for line we can select a different color. So currently a dark color is there. So we can select this light blue color, and this is representing the data. Next we can enable markers also. So it will show these values, and this is also showing that most number of renewals are also on Monday. This is pretty much same as Monday, Sunday. You can see Monday, Sunday, Wednesday. But here, in case of late fees collection, Wednesday is at third number. But here, Friday is at third number, where more people are renewing these books. And finally, for average number of pages that are read per day, we can, I'm just copying this, I can copy anything, because then at least one axis will be common, and then I will simply change it into a donut chart. So day of week will come as a legend. Legend particularly is used for something like this, you can see. So this is legend, right? So here the legend comes as a hue or a color, and here what we can do, because it is again the dark shade, so we can, I will just go and do the same repetitive thing here. So here we just change that. Now this is legend. In a donut chart, these slices represent something. So for example, Monday 23.1%, Sunday 17.16. Okay, and but first we have to change the average pages read also. This entire data may change. So on an average, so you can see on Saturdays more people are reading. So when we selected this, so now we are seeing the data, and this is legend. So first of all we can go to legend. If you don't want, you can disable that. Okay, so this is one thing you can do, or you can go and select its position as bottom center. Okay, so you can select here. So right now I will just disable it, and here because slices are already showing the percentage, So in detail labels, it will ask you what do you want to show. So it is currently showing data value and percentage of total. So we can also show category and data value, or we can only show category. So and one can now take their mouse over these different visuals and over these weak numbers and see the data. So here you can see position. Position is outside. You can also show inside, but you can see it is very unreadable, I will say. So that's why you can select that. If you are selecting inside and you have the overflow text on, if you will not have that, it will not even show that, because as per our design, this space is less. Otherwise you can show it easily here, as I have done in many of my previous videos, which you can check out in my channel. So I will keep only like this, or we can show category and percentage of total. So this is average pages read by day of week. Even if the title is not readable, we can select a further darker color for this. So now we are good to go. So this brings our first part of our exploratory data analysis, that if we consider if we consider day of week as important field, so in the first row we can see borrow duration versus day of week, late fees versus it, pages read versus it, renewal count versus it. Next, it will be very important to understand what type of books are being read more or are being borrowed more. Like people are borrowing children book or fiction or history. You will understand little bit more about your audience. So important thing here is number of transactions. Every when someone is borrowing it, so this transaction ID actually tells how many books are borrowed. Okay, so here we have that information, but we have one more important thing here. So what we can do, we can create another measure, and here we can simply write books or number of books borrowed, and here we will write count rows. So my keyboard is not working today, I don't know what happened. So here we'll write count rows, and in count rows you just have to select your table name, book borrow. So when you will do that, so this will simply present total number of rows, and here every row represents one borrowed transaction. Okay, so now we will consider this as our target field for building 3 or 4 charts that we will build in this footer section. Remember, this is part 1. Okay, this is just the EDA or summary dashboard. So as you know, we have created multi-part series, whether it was hospital data analysis or city traffic violation or course related. So in first part, I keep it simple. I try to just do exploratory analysis to understand the data set. Then in second part, I start with some other details, and I create 5 to 10 questions of this data. Those questions that will be solved using complex DAX expressions or queries, so that all the students can practice those questions. So that's why this is first part. Please subscribe to our channel and probably like this video if you have learned something from it, so that if next part will be uploaded, you will get a notification. So now, since we have number of books borrowed, we will start with genre. So I will use this stacked bar chart for it, and in this stacked bar chart we will try to put total number of books borrowed. Now here we are more free to experiment. So here what happens, when we selected a vertical bar, our categorical field came to x-axis, but when it is a vertical thing, or sorry, horizontal, so here your categorical field will come on y-axis. So book, whatever is the category of that book, will come on y-axis, and on x-axis you will have things like, for example, number of books borrowed. So this is number of books borrowed by genre, and which tells us that more people are reading mystery novels or something. And now we will go to general tab, effects. I will enable shadow of it. I will even enable a background or visual border. For visual border, I will select a simple white color and give it a rounded corner of around 14 pixel. So it looks like this. Here also I will just go to title setting and select this blue title that I prefer. You can select your own favorite color, or sometimes if you are doing it for a library, suppose you are a library manager doing it for your own library, and your institute has some kind of logo or brand guideline which tells you what type of color to use, what type of font to use, so you can select that. Here we can enable data labels also to see these numbers. So this is something that we can select here. Next, I will just copy this, which gives us information of number of books borrowed by genre. Then we have different library branches also. These different library branches are either in central region, east branch. So it's a big campus. Let's say it's a big university campus where there are 4 or 5 library branches, and collectively this data is coming to one server. So then you can see in which branch we have more number of transactions. So that way you will be able to decide how much staff do you need in each branch. So here also we can select some chart. I am just going with this one, and here instead of genre we will select library branch, and which gives us an information that 22% of books that have been borrowed are from east branch, and there are 5, so every branch has very close percentage, so it will not be easily decided, but this is how you can check that. And we can rename it as books borrowed by library branch. Next up we have information of what type of member is borrowing that book. So we have different kind of members, like whether it's a senior person, student, or an adult. So for this we will create a simple chart. I have just changed it a little bit, number of books borrowed by member type, and because I just want to keep the title in one line, I am just writing a books borrowed by member type. Here you can see 2 numbers are inside and one is on top, and this is because in data labels orientation position is auto, you can select inside and, so you can see more books or more number of transactions of book borrowing are by seniors, then students, and then adults. So this is how you can check that data. So because we are just learning things, here we have number of books borrowed by whatever category it is. Here we have books borrowed by member type. Now library will also be interested in knowing that what is the preferred category of book by seniors, what is the preferred category of book by adults. So now as you can see, Whatever charts we have created, we only had one category, one number, one category, one number. So it is one on one. But what if we want to see number of books borrowed by genre as well as member type? So that's why this ribbon chart is very useful. Let me show you the usage of it. Hopefully it will come meaningful. So here, first of all, we will select it as a ribbon chart. In ribbon chart on x-axis, I will select the book category so that we have all these values here, because we have 7 or 8 different categories. Then on legend, so one category comes on x-axis, and as I said, this legend becomes a hue or a color. So the other category, member type, which are only 3 in category, so we will select here. So it will assign these colors. Next thing is, on y-axis we will simply bring our number. Let's say you want to analyze total renewals, you will bring like this. If you want to analyze, like for example, number of books borrowed, you will bring like this. And here again I will just write it like books borrowed, and that's title, books borrowed by category and member type, or genre and member type. I may be pronouncing it wrong, sorry. So this is what you can see, and here I will just go to title, because a title is long but we have to keep it meaningful. So I may choose this size. So here, why I have selected a size like this, because I just wanted to create it. So I just wanted to use more space for our chart. Now what is the meaning of this chart first of all? And I am just removing this heading and putting it on top so that I can have more space for my charts. And now I will try to keep the title same for every chart. Okay, it is 14. So what is this chart showing us? This chart is showing that mystery. Adults are this orange, and you can see more students have bought mystery books. But when it comes to science, more seniors are interested in science books. When it comes to fiction, again, students are interested. So you will understand what type of book do they prefer. Whether children prefer, obviously these are like seniors are buying children books, but that may be for different reasons, like they are reading to their grandchildren, right? So you can see from here. So this represents that the rank of every member type wise number of books borrowed for every genre of book that we have. So it will help us in understanding the choices, the likes and of our audience or our readers that is there. So this is a simple dashboard that we have created, a simple exploratory analysis dashboard that you can try as well. And this particular dashboard is for just basic analysis that we have done. I'm just trying to enable shadow here. Let's see how it looks. So you can try it at your end. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions how we can improve, please let us know. And if you are also interested in doing data analysis on any particular topic, you can always suggest that to us. We will try to create that dashboard. So this is our chapter 1 of this series, and as you can see, I'm just, while talking, I'm just enabling visual border etc. that I have done so far. So just try this, and data set, its description, everything, and whatever simple DAX we have used here, all of this will be given to you in the video description. Thanks once again. Have a nice day.